Good day everyone, I'm Lim Fang Jen and my student ID is 1802007. Today I'm here present to do a presentation for my building maintenance assignment. So what is a building defect? Building defect can be defined as building flaw or design mistake that reduces the value of the building and causes a dangerous condition to its users. So it can be caused by numerous factors, and even in this modernized era, it cannot be eliminated entirely from this industry. So there are five major causes of building defects, and that includes primary cause, weathering agents, biological agent, chemical agent, and mechanical agent. So for primary cause, there are five parts, and the first part is design deficiency. Design deficiency can be defined as faults or mistakes in building design that might cause future unforeseen problems and complications on building for the rest of its life. If it happens, it places a heavy burden on the maintenance team to upkeep, maintain and improve the building. If such situation occurs, the designer has the biggest responsibility because during the construction stage, the design that was given from the designer is already a mistake or a fault. Therefore, the maintenance team will have a heavy responsibility to maintain and upkeep the building to meet its functional requirements. So the example of design deficiency that is given by me is the collapse of Highland Tower, and this is the picture. So there are two main causes of the collapse of Highland Tower. First is improper soil testing, and the second is the failure of retaining wall. It is the failure of a designer to design an adequate retaining wall to contain the site and the building that stood on it. The design of to make it simpler, the design of the retaining wall is not good enough to fortify the building site and to hold the soil that is falling down from that hilly area. So next is construction faults. So construction faults is defined as the deficiency or inappropriate materials or system that is used on the building. So there are many types of materials and system that is used during the construction of a building, and different building requires different types of material and system. So construction faults may result in financial harm, either damage or personal injury to the workers or to the building. And there are several categories such as structural defects, electrical defects, and others. There are two types of construction faults, which are latent defects and patent defects. So for latent defects, latent defects can be explained by the defects that can't be seen by an eye, and patent defects are the defects that can be clearly seen by an eye. So the examples of latent defects are soils that are not compacted, lack of reinforcing in structural concrete, improperly installed weatherproofing system, and improperly consolidated concrete. And for patent defects, handrail omitted in stairways, missing control and expansion joints, signs of distress in building envelope, and lack of roof drainage or roof slope. So the example of construction fault that I have included is improper thorough wall detailing and installation. So you can see the defect in the red circle that I have circled. The next example that I've given is failed sealant in need of replacement. It is also in the circle that I've circled. For the next point is lack of maintenance. Maintenance is repair and improvement or enhancement of building, which definitely increases the life of a building and also the value of the building. It is an activity that must be done in a regular basis with proper plans to maintain or improve the health of the building. There are two types of maintenance, which are planned and unplanned maintenance. So for planned maintenance are activities that are pre-planned. It includes maintenances such as preventive, which is either schedule-based or condition-based, and predictive maintenance. And for unplanned maintenance, it includes corrective and emergency maintenance. So this is the example of lack of maintenance. The first one is long-term water leakages, which is shown in the picture, and fungus or vegetation growth. Next is changes of use of building. Buildings are normally designed for a specific purpose such as commercial, industrial or residential, and the designer would make provisions for the particular use only. The space layout, floor loading requirements, thermal transmission and types of finishes, services, fittings and equipment varies vastly between the purposes of the buildings. So the differences between the functional requirements of two types of building and how the changes of use of building will lead to building effects are, for example, the foundations and floor, the walls, the ancillary spaces and the finishes of a factory is different compared to a residential or commercial building. For the next primary cause is vandalism. Softer building materials such as wood, gypsum board, softwood ceilings and noise barriers that are made out of resin were common targets as scratches and holes are often found in these materials because they often invite vandalism. The installation of harder materials and designing a zone to distant occupants from these materials usually tend to reduce the tendency of vandalism. So the example of vandalism is a broken window in a building and a graffiti on building walls. So the ways that I've included to prevent vandalism are to keep the building neat and tidy, to maintain good lighting in all the areas, to install CCTV cameras and to contact authorities if any vandalism activities are caught. So for weathering agents, Malaysia is a country that faces hot and humid the whole year, such as heavy rainfall and warm sunshine. This has a big effect on the buildings as they tend to react to the weather promptly, especially the external part of the building, where the building materials are always exposed to weathering agents such as sunlight, rain, wind and atmospheric pollution. So the examples of building defects caused by weathering agents are the peeling of paint as shown in the pictures. Next is biological agents. Biological agents that causes building defects are categorized into a few categories as below: insects, animals and fungi. Buildings that are designed well and uses good grade and appropriate materials should always be considered before resorting to the usage of chemical substances, which not only is harmful to fungi, insects, rats, pets, but also children and human beings. So the example of defects that is caused by biological agents is shown in a picture where I've circled in a red area. So next is biological agents. These pictures above shows timber decay that is subjected to biological deterioration that is caused by living organisms such as insect infestation, fungal decay and marine borers. So fungal decay occurs when high level of moisture that eventually leads to the development of beetle infestation. It is usually separated into two groups, which are brown and white rods. Insect and termite attacks are insects that is capable to feed on mostly anything including timber. Insect or termite attacks pose a threat to damp and digestible timber found in wall plates, the feet of rafter, bearing end of beams and trusses. So the the explanation explains the defects that is caused by biological agents in these two pictures. Next is chemical agents. Common reactions that are caused by chemical agents are crystallization of salt, corrosion and sulfate attack. So the example of chemical attacks that causes building defects is shown as the picture below. The picture above shows alkali aggregate reaction on concrete. Alkali aggregate reaction can be explained as a chemical reaction between cement that mostly contains alkali and aggregates that contain silica content. The alkali aggregate reaction on concrete will only take place when the following are present together: concrete with high moisture level, and when cement contains high alkali content, and aggregate with alkali that has reactive constituents. So for mechanical agents, it can be defined as agents that imposes physical force on a building that will cause building defects to occur. It may be static and permanent, such as ground pressure, or static and static and temporary, such as snow load. The examples of building defects that are caused by mechanical agents are wear and tear of building, damage due to movement of earth such as earthquake, damage due to internal traffic such as the users of the building walking over floors or rubbing against the wall, and damage due to the other users such as repeated opening and shutting of doors and windows. So these are the examples of building defects that is caused by the mechanical agents, and it will be explained in the next slide. So the example shown in figure 9 is tear thread. This defect occurs due to wear and tear, which depends on the usage of the floor area lah. And next is figure 10 and 11 shows the damages that are done to the walls and floors of a building, which are regarded as types of mechanical agents and contributes to building defects. So you can say that most of these defects are caused by wear and tear, like, or old age, like yeah. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.